Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Talk2Rami. This is Rami, your host. Today, I have an amazing person in the studio, Ali Mehdaoui. And we're going to talk about entrepreneurship because a lot of you are asking me lately that what it feels to be an entrepreneur. And we're going to discuss that. Ali, he's an amazing speaker, coach, entrepreneur, and consultant, leadership strategist, marketing strategist, name it. But we're going to have that discussion, and I'm sure you're going to learn a lot about how you feel to be an entrepreneur. Ali, welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you.
I was looking, talking to you because I believe you and we have a lot in common. I was reading about you. You are a restaurant guy too. I didn't know that.
Yeah. For a good 4 to 5 years, early on, that's where I guess you can call it the passion for everything that I do comes from. How you do anything is how you do everything, and I definitely had an incredible amount of passion for restaurants. It's just burnt out 90 hours a week would definitely get you to reconsider your career options, especially as a newlywed.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been there, done that, but you have been involved with like entrepreneurship, community, restaurateur, and name it. How long have you been an entrepreneur? You're a hardcore one.
Since the age of 23 years old. I'm 37 now, so it's been a journey to say the least. But the interesting thing is, I think entrepreneurship obviously is developed over a period of time, and a lot of people have different definitions of what entrepreneurship really means.
Absolutely.
What I have discovered is there are many connecting points from my past as a child that are still operational systems in who I am today as an entrepreneur. I've been blessed to speak different languages, and that came from the fact that I grew up in a third world country, that I learned 3 languages before coming to the United States, that I was or had certain fundamentals embedded within me, working hard and maintaining your humility and, giving to the world, and just many things that I learned from my surroundings, my parents' good and bad things that I've learned that allowed me to kind of identify how to maneuver and how to serve the community that we serve every single day.
Yeah, because one of the topics that I was going to actually talk about that with you was about the entrepreneurship, because like you, I've been an entrepreneur for many years, restaurateur, name it. I'm an immigrant myself, and I speak 5 languages as well, and I'm originally from Iran, but what do you think? This is the question I asked the immigrant entrepreneur like you and I. I said, what makes us not better, but more driven? Have you experienced that? That any entrepreneur that I talk, they are immigrant, that they came to this country, they are more driven than anybody I have seen. And I don't know. Yeah. And some goes back to culture, some goes back to the country. But what do you think? What do you think that the reason?
Yeah, I genuinely believe it is that we have, first of all, we have a comparison point. Where you and I have come from, we might not have had the same opportunities that we have where we are in life right now. And it comes with a sense of appreciation. One of the things that I've discovered in any immigrant that has lived a big part of their life in another country and then came to whether the United States or Europe, I usually ask them, when is your move-in date? I remember mine was June 20th, 2002. And every immigrant, do you remember yours?
Yes, it was in 1994, May 12, 1994.
See that? It's incredible how we always remember that specific date. And that's because that was the day that we made a decision that I'm giving everything I am up for a bigger purpose and a bigger reason. And that drives us since the moment we step foot at that new home that we call our new homeland. We've given up our food, our culture, our families, our language, our friends, our way of life, our culture, and decided I'm going to embed myself and relearn what it means to be a human being in this new society. And deep within your roots are always going to be there. But I think that's what drives you. You remind yourself, I didn't give all that up to work for $7.25 an hour, being a busboy or a dishwasher in a restaurant. I didn't give all that up just so I can rent a room and feel like I'm in my own jail cell every single day. I didn't give all that up, and comfort and my grandma's food and my cousins and everybody around, just so I can barely make ends meet. So I think the drive initially comes from that reason why I came here in the first place. And different people have different reasons. Mine was to set my family up first and foremost, give them a better opportunity, give them better options in life, better education. And when I say family, I came when I was 16, and that was the mindset. Here I am today, where my mom, my stepfather, my father, and my stepmom are all here. All the brothers and sisters, and the immediate family is here, and everybody has gone through college. Everybody has their own traditional businesses. Everybody has a very thriving career. And I don't think that would have happened had I not taken a responsibility and say, all right, I'm going to start that trailblazer mindset, and I'm going to set the standard that this is the way it needs to be. But it really goes back to that very first reason why we've come here in the first place. I think people, I'll speak on the United States, a lot of people take this country for granted. A lot of people take the opportunities they have for granted. A lot of people complain about left wing, right wing, and
Yep.
all the opposite issues, while in all sincerity, there is more in common than there is in division. There are more opportunities in full abundance. You look at those who understand wealth and entrepreneurship. It doesn't matter if you're having a recession or you're having inflation, or they figure it out somehow, some way. Don't get me wrong. There are challenges and there are little hiccups. That's part of life. That's part of business. But as an entrepreneur, your sole responsibility is to identify a solution for a problem and then monetize it. And if you have that mindset and you are solution driven, okay, the stock exchange is about to crash. All right, I have to figure out a new strategy where now I have a seller mindset instead of a buyer mindset. The real estate industry is about to crash. Okay, I got to take advantage, hold off a little bit, don't buy anything. But once it gets into the bottom, just like it did in 2008, that's when you go buy. A lot of people complain about Bitcoin crash. All right, well, guess what? The universe just gave you a second chance, because in 2008 and 9, Bitcoin wasn't even a thing. Now It went backwards and say, here's your chance. You missed it the first time. Take advantage now. But different people have different mindset, and I choose to see good. I choose to see abundance. I choose to see opportunities, and it worked for me. And I tell everybody, listen, if what you're doing right now is not giving you what you desire and what you wish has worked for you, try it my way. You may just be surprised.
I'm so happy you mentioned that. But recently, as you know, and you talk to so many entrepreneurs, that is it this fancy title. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur right now. Everybody wants to quit their job. You hear that all day long. I hear that people come to me and say, hey, we want to be like you. We're going to do this. And I said, don't quit your job, okay? Entrepreneurship is good. Being an entrepreneur is good. It's a fancy title, all that stuff. But there's a lot of things involved in the, being an entrepreneur, and go to that journey. A lot of sacrifices, paying the price. And with the human psychology, as you know, we all wants everything right now. We need it right now. We're going to be the better. We're going to have the best organization. I'm going to build the best company, the best software. I want to build the best restaurant and all that stuff, but it's not going to happen. They have to go through the phases that you just mentioned, that go through those pain and suffering and pay the price. And I don't know what is with this generation. I'm not complaining about a lot of people, but they have a different perspective. They think that, yeah, it's easy. It's not.
I'll tell you, if I may. So I believe that the generation that right now, the next upcoming, or the dominant generation, the social media generation, is set up to do so much better, greater, faster than anybody else. Because, I'm 37 and considerably still young, but I lived, pre social media. So I understood the human element. I understood the yellow pages. I understood door knocking.
Yeah.
I understood,
Yeah.
picking up the phone, and I understood those fundamentals. This generation didn't experience that, and there are blurred lines where you see a lot of so-called coaches. I mean, you see it, I see it. You scroll on social media, every second post is a sponsor ad of somebody saying, "Don't scroll. Do you want to know how to make $10,000 in 3 days using a formula for F?"
Amen. I see that every day.
So there is a lot of great marketers with zero actual based results who are just good at selling courses, and they are pushing a narrative on some individuals who are really, really good and have great potential, but they're sold an idea of a unicorn. All you have to do is call once, buy once, sell once, and you're going to be rich forever. But the definition of an entrepreneur is someone who is taking the risk, like the actual definition, taking the risk with their own money and time with the hope. It doesn't say with the guarantee.
No.
With the hope of receiving a return on investment. That is the definition of entrepreneurship. So if you don't have the mindset of, I'm willing to risk and I'm hoping, and hope has certain elements to it, right? Because there's a longevity of time that you have to endure it. The best way I can put it is everybody is sold on the one hit song and I'm going to live on it forever. And everybody's chasing that one hit song. The reality is you have to learn the craft. You have to learn the fundamentals. You have to understand the laws of the universe. You have to understand the different variables that are around you. You and I understand the restaurant business. It's not about knowing how to cook.
Nope.
That's just one little tiny element.
Yep.
You got to know how to do profits and losses. You got to know how to attract clientele. You got to know how to retain them. You got to know how to manage the front of the house, the back of the house. You got to know how to manage staff. You got to know how to order. There's a lot of different variables in order to have a restaurant. That's why 80 to 90% of restaurants close within their first 6 to 8 months. Because a lot of people don't take the time to understand their craft. They're going in with the mindset of, I know how to cook, then I can have a restaurant. It's a little bit more than that. And I believe if this generation were to just accept the responsibility of the education necessary, accept the understanding of, I have to learn and I have to be educated, because the word, again, education or educate is derived from the word educo, which is Latin, and it means to induce and nurture from within. We've grown in a program and in a system, college, high school, whatever it may be, that tells you, congrats, you graduated, meaning you're done. And you hear a lot of people like, finally I'm done. I got my bachelor's degree. You're not done. That was just practical education. You must nurture and create from within that very basic, specialized knowledge. And that comes from passion. That comes from the willingness to create a movement and impact people. And again, that's a mouthful, but all to say, it's not just one thing and I'm successful. There are an incredible amount of things that you must have in order to become successful.
Yeah, I remember, as you said, when I was, I was consulting with a bunch of, restaurants, the franchises and the corporate, and, and I get this, sometimes people come to me and they say that I want to open a restaurant. And I said, okay, let's talk about it. What are you good at? I said, I can cook. I said, as you said, Ali, I said, that's not going to be enough. It's a process. You got to know everything. You got to go through the whole process. Like, I remember when I came here in 1994, I was a dishwasher in the local pizza place. But when I came here, I swear to God, Ali, I was planning every day, how can I build my own restaurant? And I was learning everything from scratch. After that, I went to work in the restaurant, Italian restaurant. I was a dishwasher there, become a prep guy and the line cook and the salad guy, name it, bar back, server, busboy, everything you name of it. And at night I was mastering, and I wasn't a cook. I didn't go to cordon bleu or all these things, and I learned everything from the chef, all these Italian recipes and everything else. And after 5 years, I opened my own restaurant in Austin, Texas, and it was 1999, and in 2000 was voted the best Italian restaurant in Austin. But the point that I'm trying to make is, if I wouldn't do all of that, I couldn't make it. And then 9/11 happened. I had to, people left. And I said, oh my God, 36 restaurants in Austin, they shut down. And I had to go back to the line and they start cooking. And then right after that, come on the floor and manage and, wait tables and all that stuff. But it's a hardworking entrepreneurship or anything that now, right now, I'm in the technology. I got a digital marketing company, all that. But the same philosophy. I had to learn everything. And now you build it based on, as you said, that education part is a constant work, is a constant, educating yourself for better. It's not, one size fits all, or it's not like I'm going to learn it everything at the same time. It doesn't matter. The recession is coming. Everybody, as you said, they're freaking out right now. Everybody, I'm serious. Oh, what are you going to do? Recession is coming. I say, so many people made money during the depression time. Did you read that? I know the recession is coming. Maybe, I don't know. But you got to do what you do the best every day to go forward. Have you experienced that? That people coming to you and say, "Hey, recession is coming, Ali. What we're gonna do?"
I personally don't have cable TV in any of our rooms in our house.
Amen.
We haven't had it for 5 years because the news cycle is controlling and whether it's left or right media, just the news cycle has an agenda. It always does. And it drives certain fundamentals. And I'm not here to judge or promote any one way or the other. To each his own. It's between you and your creators, between you and your belief system. I just believe that you have to take a real look and an inventory on how is that belief system impacting your day-to-day operations and everybody that's around you. Because here are the two options that you have. You can cry wolf and say, recession, we're all going to die. Everything is bad. COVID is going to kill us, right? Or we can actually say, okay, we understand there is a symptom. How can we address it? What can we do to fix it? And fortunately, the world that we live in right now, the governing bodies that we have, again, whether it's left or right, they're not operating from a solution-based system. They're operating on what do I have to say so I can give the other side to see that their guy is the bad guy so they can vote for me next so I can stay in my job. And again, love you, do your thing, whatever works for you, God bless. I think that if we take an honest look, I was on the Los Angeles Tribune yesterday doing on Roku TV an interview, and they asked me about, what is your take on this panic that is happening in the world? And my answer was, it is self-inflicted. Stress itself is a hormone that is released from your brain chemicals, and it attacks your genes, it attacks your protein, and you become protein deficient. When you become protein deficient, guess what happens? Your immune system is weak. When your immune system is weak, you're bound to get sick. So when we were for 2 years, coronavirus, the CDC said that, African Americans are going to die 3 times more. The CDC says that Arabic people are going to die 3 times more. The CDC.
I remember that.
But guess what? You're hearing that, and your brain starts to release these stress hormones. That's why you hear stress kills. And then you weaken your own immune system. You walk out in the street, and guess what happens? You get sick. So I remember in Think and Grow Rich, there's one part that was documented in 1919 when there was a Spanish influenza that just came into New York. And the mayor of New York at that time, and by the way, back then, there was no technology that we have right now. The medical field wasn't as advanced. It was like, okay, you're going to die. Sorry, tell your family bye-bye. And the Spanish influenza, which was the worst pandemic to date until COVID-19, it lasted less than 30 days in the capital of the world, New York, and in the United States. Now, you may ask, why? Here's why. The mayor of New York called all the local newspapers and said, I need your collaboration. Do not put any major headlines about the pandemic. Otherwise, we will have a major issue, and it's going to spread countrywide for a very long time. Well, they did not. And within 30 days, the Spanish influenza was gone. What happened that was different during COVID-19 with all the advancements? Everybody was saying we're all going to die. Shut it down, close it down, everything is bad. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying COVID is not real. It is a real thing, just like cancer is a real thing, just like the flu is a real thing, just like heart disease is a real thing. But if I tell you, Remy, hey, you're going to die tomorrow. And I tell you every single day, there's a chance you're going to die tomorrow. Eventually,
I'll be there halfway.
Me,
yeah.
Right? So I think while yes, economically speaking, we can see that there is an incline, and that's part of life. Look at the history of any economy. There's always a major dip that's called opportunity, and then it goes up. A major dip, and then it goes up. So yes, there is a financial dip right now. It's part of life. What goes up must go down. You can never expect things to always go up. The United States, the leader of the free world when it comes to economic growth, is also a capitalistic country. Based on those facts, they also have fiscal quarters, fiscal years where there are ups and downs. In the history of every single government, that's how it has been. The question is, are you an end consumer, or are you taking advantage and becoming an entrepreneur? In 2020, 65% of the traditional employee either did not go back to the same job or started a side hustle or an online business. That was opportunity. A revolution started to happen. Now, you have a second opportunity to take advantage of the things that you could not in 2008. So yes, you can say there is a recession. By default, a recession is when you have 2 quarters in a row where GDP is in decline. So July 1st was the first day of recession. But I'm telling you right now, it doesn't mean that you are going to be in a bad circumstance. It only means that the universe is telling you, hey, I'm giving you a chance to do the things that you always wanted to do. I'm allowing you the dreams that you want. One of the 12 laws of the universe is called the law of relativity. And what that states is that you must have problems in order for you to operate at a higher frequency. Imagine you and I, Remy, are walking in a hallway and it's dark. And we're really comfortable and good at it. Like, we got this. We can go back and forth, no problem. The law of relativity is like an invisible person next to us. Like, okay, these guys clearly need a little bit more challenge so they can operate at a darker, longer, smaller hallway. So that invisible person takes a stick and just goes, waves it right across our head. And then we get hit. We're like, okay, all right. Remember, at the 10th second of this hallway, we got a dip. And then me and you are walking like, okay, here it comes. We dip. Guess what? We figured out and learned a new high intelligence, a new way of doing things. The universe has to provide you with some challenges. That's why problems in math are called problems. You solve math problems and your neuron immediately, brain cells are being created. You start connecting all the waves in your brain and you operate at a higher frequency. So ladies and gentlemen, that one person that is listening, or 10,000 of you, I ask of you, these things that are happening is God's gift to you so you can operate at a higher frequency. Without problems, you can never be happy. Think about it. You have a collection bill, you pay it, you're excited. You don't have a job, you get it, you're excited. It was the problem that allowed you to become creative, to figure out a solution, and then you became happy. So instead of falling into the trap and sitting on that problem, figure it out, solve it. Make phone calls, reach out to Remy, get some consultations, figure out a way to just make it happen, because somehow, some way, the next $1 trillion company is being created right now. Twitter wasn't around in 2008. Facebook wasn't around in 2008. Airbnb wasn't around in 2008. Uber wasn't around in 2008. And I can go on and on and on and on and on. And we know not only what kind of companies they are, but how they changed the way of life. You and I are the next Elon Musks in creation right now as we speak. But you got to make a decision. You just got to grab on it and take the responsibility of all the things you must learn and apply, or sit back, relax, and wait until you pay that bill. Because somehow, some way, sooner or later, you're just going to have to pay a bill.
But, I'm so happy you said that, but you know it, I know it. The biggest problem as a human, or we just focus on the freaking bad things all the time. Like, I don't know, but most of the people, they put all their energy on the negative rather than, as you said, okay, I do have a problem. Am I going to look at this problem as a solution, or am I look at it as just, okay, it's the end of the world and I'm dying, I'm dead. Like, with my business, I went up and down. Any other businesses, but I had 2 options: to give in, give up, or just keep going and adjusting, fixing, and doing that. But why you think the biggest problem that we face, why people they stuck? what is that reason? Isn't the mindset, as you said, or is it,
It is.
like, I think it's in the mindset.
It really, everything is mindset. So the late Bob Proctor, and I've had the privilege to work with him and train from him.
I
with
love
him
that guy,
for
yeah.
the last 7 years. Yeah, he's changed the way I look at life. He always talked about the paradigm. So you got to ask yourself, what is a paradigm? The paradigm is simply a set of ideas and or ideals that you turn into habits. Therefore, your habits become your belief system. You pray every single day. That's your belief system. Well, why is it your belief system? Because you do it every day. Therefore, it's a habit. You brush your teeth every day. It is a habit. You do certain things and behaviors every day as a habit. So therefore, it's your paradigm. So we've been generation after generation after generation embedded with certain ideas, whether it's our beliefs, religion, politics, whatever it may be. That was a paradigm or a ideal or ideas that were embedded in our mind from our parents or our teachers or whomever, and we turned them into our truths and our reality. We were told, what do you think? Money grows in trees?
Yeah.
Right. So now, as grown-ups, we are like, let me save this and let me not invest it because money doesn't grow in trees. Right. What do you think I am, Rockefeller? We're poor people. We're everyday people. So you grew up thinking I'm not supposed to be healthy or wealthy. I don't have a good relationship with money because my father was not Rockefeller. So by default, you're like, I'm supposed to be in the middle class. I'm supposed to be below poverty line. And we accept that. So when you and I come into somebody's face and we say, hey, there's plenty of solutions, that person's belief system saying, you don't know who you're talking to. My father isn't Rockefeller and money doesn't grow in trees. And I've lived that way all my life. So therefore, I know for a fact there's no way for me to see the good come out. So it's just a belief system. So how do you change that belief system? Well, one, you have to make a decision. That's the very first thing. Decision, or the word decidio, is a Latin word derived from Latin language. And all it means is to remove all options. So if I'm talking to you right now and you say, Ali, today we become healthy. It's a decision. Therefore, I have to make a decision that I'm removing all other options. I'm not buying any, junk food into my grocery list. I'm not bringing any ice cream. There's no cigarettes. There's no alcohol. There's nothing that will be compromising because we made a decision. So you got to make a decision. Two, you have to get somebody who you desire their lifestyle to be a mentor of yours, whether it is a direct mentor, like hiring somebody, or we're asking for mentorship, or an indirect mentor. The good thing and it goes back to how this generation, our generation, is so set up for greatness. You got this thing in your hand, you got everything you desire. Your cell phone has it all. You can literally learn about heart surgery on a YouTube video. So you have access, but it is the decision to make a difference for yourself and then back it up with action. The most exciting thing that you see right now all over social media, everybody's talking about the law of attraction or law of vibration, right? It's like the hottest thing. Oh, it's the law of attraction.
Do you really believe that, Ali, the law of attraction, that I see that home and I'm waiting for the paycheck?
Yeah. So
or is the check is going to drive in my mailbox? That's
so
really interesting.
Here's the thing. It is 100% irrefutable law that it exists, but there's a little asterisk, right? See, the law of attraction, let's split it. Attract, action. See, yeah, I can meditate and I can think and I can pray on it. And God will open the doors and bring Remy on my stories every single day. But I have to take the action and hit follow and send a message. Hey, I love what you're doing. I'd love to have the opportunity to learn from you. So the missing link is action. The reality is we all attract everything that we have in our life. You ever say, man, this red light always gets me? Guess what you did? You've created the actual vibration for that light to turn red every single time. And it wasn't that some mystical, crazy, non-physical force turned it on. It's just your paradigm is so habitually programmed to get in your car in a specific time. And it just happens that it's you who gets in front of the red light when it turns red. It's not the red light that turns red for you. So it is your decision of, I'm going to get out of my house like 2 minutes early. That's the paradigm change. I made an active decision that I'm going to get out a little bit early. Most people are complaining about, man, there's no jobs out there. Well, if you were to get your butt up at 4 o'clock in the morning and apply before everybody else, maybe your application would be seen before everybody who's done it before you. There's something called the razor edge formula. See, the razor is so thin. The reason Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordans of the world and the Derek Jeters of the world were so great is they did a little bit more than everybody else. Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan were infamous of getting 700 plus free throw and layup shots before the game. And then when the game is over, if they won or if they lost, they'll stay still and shoot again. Kobe Bryant, when he lost his potential 5th ring before he actually won it, he stayed because he missed the buzzer shot. And he practiced that very same shot for 2 hours with his coach after game 7. Now, most players, they're like, okay, the season is over. Let me go rest. My man stayed in the court and practiced that very same fadeaway shot. Guess what he did the next year? He won his 5th ring.
Oh my God!
So it is the razor edge. Is that little bit that is different than or a little bit more. This is why I personally inspire. I wake up at 3:30 every single morning. It's not because I'm some guru. I nap twice a day, so I'm always having a recharged body. But I do it because I want to be early and getting information before the masses, not because I'm competing, but because I have a responsibility to my audience and my followers and my clients. So I want to be the first to grab information and data, and I want to be the first to identify it. I want to be the first to do my homework. So when everybody's getting up and grabbing their coffee at 8, this guy is already doing stories and lives and giving information about what's going on in the market, what's going on in the business community, what's going on personal development. And I'm starting your day with value. And therefore you say, I need to work with this guy, Ali. But in all sincerity, all Ali did, he was the cheat sheet for you. He just woke up a little bit early, did his homework, and then he said, here's the homework. Make sure you present it to the teacher at 8:30. And that's why you can be a person of value. So yeah, attraction is a real thing. And I study the 12 laws of the universe and all of their sub-laws and all of their elements and all of their agreement, like if it is the holy book. I study them very, very, very well, because if you know the laws, you can operate the right way. I'll give it to you in this example, Remy. Sometimes we're on highways where it's 65, 75 miles an hour. And if you're driving in that highway 30 miles an hour, you're putting yourself and everybody else in danger. And you wonder why I might get crashed in here. Other times you're in 25 mile an hour zone, but you're driving 45, 50 miles an hour. And now you're putting everybody else, including yourself, in danger. See, if you were to just simply understand the laws, just like you understand the law of driving, you're a safe driver, you're putting yourself in a good place and everybody else around you. The universe also has specific laws of operations. And if you were to understand them, you could do so many great things. And while they are called law of attraction, the law of vibration, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, or whatever fancy words you want to give them, all I know is this. It's just learning how to be a good person. That's all there is to it.
Simple as that.
And if you can figure that out, what is a good person, and then coexist and co-create with other good people. You know, you talk about law of attraction. You and I attracted one another to each other. You and I both speak 5 languages. You and I are both immigrants. You and I both come from the restaurant business. You and I both are speakers, trainers in the digital space. You and I both do what we do. So is this a coincidence? I'd say it is. And let me explain what the word coincidence is. See, coincidence, split it in half. There's the word co, and then there's incidence. Co is someone or something that assists, like a co-pilot. An incidence is an event that has occurred in the past, is occurring now, or will occur in the future. Therefore, the occurrence or the incident is right now. The co-creators is you and I. But there's one more. See, we're just co-creators. There's an actual creator. See, you and I aligned our behavior, our mindset, our well-being, our belief system, our spiritual faith, everything with a creator that said, you two belong in the same room because you are twins from another universe and you need to talk. And this, my friend, is a coincidence. Me and you have met a long time ago in somewhere, somehow. We just never had the physical opportunity to be in the same room like we are right now. Therefore, this is a coincidence that you and I and a creator has actually created. Most people think a coincidence is a miracle or something random that happens. No, it is something that you've been working on creating. It's like when my son wants, he's like, Papa, I want the toy, I want the toy, I want the toy. And I say, no, when you finish your breakfast and you clean your room, then you can have that toy. So my son wants the toy. I want to give him the toy. The incidence is identical. But the creator and the co-creator have like a lack of alignment. I say, when you clean, he says, no. Now, I'm not going to give him the toy today or tomorrow or the next day. But on day 4, he naturally finishes breakfast and he just gives up, surrenders, and fixes his bed and cleans up his room. What do? I go right to that toy. I'm like, hey, I saw you clean your room. Here's your toy. He's like, I was just going to ask you for it. He thinks it's a coincidence. All there is, it's an alignment between the creator and the co-creator. So for everybody in here who is attracted nothing but bad things in their life, the bills, the struggle, the tickets, the whatever you are saying, like, oh, my life is horrible, all there is bad. No, it's not. You are out of alignment. Whether it's spiritual alignment, social alignment, physical alignment, you are just out of alignment. And it is your responsibility, your sole job, to figure that out. Some people call it purpose. I just call it, again, how do I become a good human being? And you whatever floats your boat, whether it's books, audiobooks, or this podcast, I think you can get right back on the right track.
You know, Ali, I'm so happy that you mentioned that about, you know, how you're going to be with good people and about the consequences. Or, you know, I believe, as you said, everything happens in life. Even you and I that we talking, I'm totally with you on that. It happens for a reason. I don't know lately what's happening, be honest with you, but I decided that I want to give more that I can. Like, I really want to give, because I believe by giving, I created a better life for myself and the people around me, and I will be more fulfilled. And then is giving is better than receiving. I love to receive, but when you give, you receive. And, you know, and as you said, that attraction, if you put your message out there, like you and I, we talking, and I told my team that I said, man, I'd love to talk to this guy and all this, because it's all about that attraction, that I put that message out there and I took action, as you said, and I work on it and I received that. And then what's happening right now, I add more value not only to my life, but learning from Ali. And Ali can actually give more to my audience by talking and speaking about his experiences, that everybody can win, which is no cost to them. I believe that these things that we do, or people like us, you know, is something that we decided to put it out there, and the universe is responding. I get messages from the people I swear to God, for so many good people, that I said, why? You know, like for example, Louis Howe and I, we start talking, and, you know, and I just like the guy, his, you know, past, you know, experiences, we talk, and I don't know, for some reason, you know, we kind of click. We never met each other, but we are in the process of talking. I'm nobody, you know, I'm another guy, you know, just doing these things and all that stuff. And he was like me. Everybody, as you said, they were like us. But the difference is that they did something. They took that action. They put a message out there, and the universe said, here you go, Ali and Rami, you should guys meet. And I believe that everybody comes to your life. There is a reason for it. Is it a good, you learn? Is it a bad, you still learn? I had people, they came to my life and they screwed me business-wise. It's gone. Okay, it's done. But I learned something. And I have people, they came to my life that I learned so much from them. So much that I couldn't get anywhere else. And I think that's what you said, that I love what you said, attraction, which is attract and take action. I want to use that, brother, and that's amazing. But this universe, I'm with you, man.
Yeah, no, it's again, going back to many mentors that I've had, you know, I don't think, well, let me rephrase that. In life, there is no good and there is no bad. There only is. It is only your perspective on what makes it good or bad, right? And put it like this. Think about, Remy, do you like fried frog legs?
No, I never had.
Okay. Would you consider eating fried frog legs?
Yeah.
Okay. Me, here's my thought. Ready? Absolutely not. Just because I don't have a good, I just don't have a good idea. So for you, hey, I don't mind. It's good. For me, it's like, it's bad. See, it is the same exact item, but one person identified it as not bad or good. The other person's like, absolutely not. If we were all That's the very first piece. So identify that, everything that is in front of me, it is my view and my behavior and my action and my feelings in inner source that is creating the good and the bad. Man, everything that you will see becomes good. I had somebody's like, dude, like my car just like died early this morning. How you want me to have a good day? I'm like, well, you could have gone in the highway with that car and a truck would have just smashed you and you would have been dead.
Here you go.
It's like, yeah, I never thought about it that way. I'm like, because you only look at the bad, you don't understand why that happened. And most of the bad things, what we thought were bad things in our life, whether it was bad businesses, bad relationships, now you look bad and you're like, I'm glad I'm not there anymore. So it becomes immediately a good thing. So the first thing is there is no good, there is no bad, there only is. It is your sole responsibility to see what that looks like. That's one. Number two is, and this is the first law of the law of universe, is the law of divine oneness. If we were all to understand that we are all connected as one, man, racism wouldn't be, any phobias would be obsolete, any hatred will be gone. My son is 5 years old, and I'll never forget, he had asked me, he's like, Papa, why does that person look different? Why does that person look different? He's talking about skin complexion and things of that nature. And that's sometimes uncomfortable. I'm like, what am I going to tell him? So I reached out to a mentor, and you may know who that mentor is. Joe Vitale. He wrote.
Yeah.
So here's how he explained it. And I love Joe Vitale. And Dr. Joe Vitale is just an amazing in every way. He said, okay, think about balloons. They come in different shapes and different colors, but they're all filled with the same helium. We're all the same in the inside.
Wow.
We just are different shapes and different colors. And I was like, oh my God, that is like amazing. So here's the actual funny part. That's so
powerful.
Oh, it was. But here's what you got to appreciate. When my son is, we're playing in park or whatever, and he goes to somebody, I kid you not, he says, I really like your shape. He thought he was giving a compliment to somebody, and he said, I really like your shape. And I was like, he means you look beautiful, man. He means you look beautiful. I'm sorry, my son is not your average kid. But if we were all to understand that we all have the same helium in us, we're just different shapes and different colors, we're one. We're interconnected. We're all cousins. I mean, take a DNA test, for crying out loud, and you will find that you are part of the whole world. We're all cousins. We're all connected. And, again, it is the belief system that unfortunately or fortunately leads to how we view the world. I think that people are good. I think that everybody I attract in my life is good. And I think that they come for a period of time, and there's a beginning and an end to everything, right? It's called the law of segmenting. Everything is a segment. This podcast right now has a beginning and an end. This energy that we feel, me and you, has a beginning and an end. And when it ends, I'm like, I wish we did more, but it's over. It's time to move on to a different segment, right? And people are good. I genuinely believe it. I just hope that whomever is hearing this message opens their eyes a little bit and opens their ears and listen from a good perspective, because the eyes and the ears chooses what it wants to hear, and it chooses what it wants to see. That's just the way it is. If you're around somebody who's telling you, my stepfather is funny. He's like, those people are nice, even if they're Catholic, but they're nice. I'm like, Dad, like, what do you mean? What's wrong with them? But it's a perspective and a paradigm that is to be changed. And once that is changed, man, the idea of purpose becomes enlightenment, and you find everything right before you start seeing things happening in a good way. And it's not that some mystical divine change happened. It's you are now able to see. It's like you put a telescope in your eye and you see clearly, oh, I see, that's the job, that's the business, that's the right customer, that's the right spouse, that's the right, it becomes easier for you to see the good. And that's where good things happen.
As you said, the whole thing is, as you said, is just about asking and wanting the stuff that you want to improve or happen to you, and nothing gonna happen if you don't take action. Like, you reach out to me, I reach out to you, we made this happen. And the biggest problem with Ali, I see right now, that people, like, they can ask for help. I don't know why is that. Like the three words that alcoholic people, if they learn, they're not going to be alcoholic. I need work. I need help. If they can say that three damn thing, they're not going to be alcoholic. But the things that we are selfish, I don't know what it is. Like, for example, if I need help, I'm going to call Ali. I say, Ali, this has happened. What do you think, buddy? You know, help me out here. You know, all that. If, as you said, we all come together, I swear to God, we're going to be unbeatable. But the problem is we are so self-centered and selfish that it's me.
Yeah.
It's me.
And
how can I use Ali for my own benefit?
Yeah, that comes, again, it goes back to the inner self and the programming that you have. You know, I remember where, you know, I mean, even in the school system, you couldn't ask for help, you know, even if you know, like, hey, I'm going to get together with my friend and we're going to study together. And the teacher's like, don't copy from one another. Like, okay, well, I needed help. Or when you ask even, you know, and unfortunately, like even our parents sometimes are like, hey, I need help. And you want to talk about your feelings and your emotions and whatever you're confused about. And a parent sometimes will shut you down. Like, get over here, get out of here. Go grab a book or something, right? We are made feel that we are sick or we have something wrong with us. The other thing to it is this. See, this cell phone thing and social media is a great innovator, a great connector, but the law of polarity, you know, whatever is has an opposite, right? And it also created a sense of loneliness. It also created a sense of ego of I have access to everything. I don't need help from anybody. Or, you know, the paradigm of the bootstrapper who thinks I can do everything for free. So therefore, they assume if I reach out to Ali or I reach out to Remy, he's gonna say, you gotta pay me $50,000 to talk to you. Well,
yep.
Guys, if you're listening, reach out. We love to help. You know, like regardless of business or not.
I really want.
Yeah. So it comes down to people are programmed to think that there is lack. Therefore, they want to hoard the little bit of they have. They are programmed to think that whomever is out there is going after them. They want to take advantage of them. And I can't stress it enough. It's your belief system that is designed. The education that we have, the society that we live in, unfortunately, has been compromised. We used to go to, you know, your favorite uncle or your favorite whomever, and you say, I got a problem. Can you bail me out? Can you help me? You know, I have a great relationship with my nephews. I am the go-to to them. Like, and I tell them all the time, hey, no judgment zone. Whatever you need, I got you. I'll always bail you out. But call me before you get in trouble. Don't call me after you get in trouble. If you call me after, I always tell my son. Yeah, if you call me after you're in trouble already, I'm going to allow you to learn a lesson and assume your responsibility. But if you tell me, hey, I think I'm about to go into this trouble and I'm just reaching out if there's a way that you can check things out for me, then you did the right thing. Whatever it takes, I'll open my bank account and help you if I have to. But once it's too late, it is your responsibility because I am not going to punish myself and my family from your irresponsible decision. Because now I'm enabling you to think, oh, I can get in trouble at any time. Ali's always going to bail me out. Then you have governments. Then you have all the subsidies. You know, like the last 2 years, the government's been giving money to everybody saying, stay home, you don't have to work, you don't have to figure it out.
Yep.
You know, my wife and I were always thinking like, why are we receiving these checks? You know, she's like, well, I didn't, she did. You know, she's like, well, you're a business owner and you're showing your income. They're sending me this check because I'm a citizen and, you know, I'm like, yeah, but we don't need it. You know, like think about the with all the respect, the ignorance in there. The government did not take the time to say, let's just send the money to those who need it versus just sending it to everybody. You got people who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're receiving money. For what?
I know some.
For what? I know people. I know some too. And they were like, oh, I'm renovating the whole house. I'm like, you know, yeah. that's coming back in a year from now in taxes and you know, inflation and all that. And here we are, right? So the bottom line is this. It's not that people don't ask for help, is they don't know that they are allowed to. They've been born into a system, into a society, into a home that you're an idiot if you don't figure it out. You're stupid if you can't figure it out. You're weak if you can't fight for yourself. Like, you know, we embed it in our families. Thank God I've been blessed to see the good and the bad in life. When my son cries, I hug him and I show him the same feeling, like it's okay to cry. You know, I'm like, I'm so sorry that you feel the way you feel. And he's like, no, I'm a baby. I'm crying because I'm hurt. And I'm like, no, I'm crying with you, and I'm your papa. And I have to remind him it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to show your emotions. And even as adults, we are to have these conversations with one another. I attempted suicide when I was 19 because, suicide is the ultimate. There's no hope. Nobody cares. I'm all alone. All right, those are the real thoughts. There was a criminal psychologist that was specialized in all things suicide. So whenever there was a suicide, he would go and he would study the steps and track back what happened that led this person to commit suicide. And he's seen hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different cases, and never emotionally got connected to anybody beside one. And that one was, as he's tracking, he goes back to the home or the apartment of the gentleman that committed suicide. And of course, he's like, there's a letter. He's like, that's usual, typical, the letter, the manifesto, And all it said in that letter is, I am on my way to the bridge and I will jump. The only way that I will not, if one person that walks by me says, hi, are you okay?
Wow.
All he wanted is one person, as he's walking and bumping into everybody, to just say like, hey,
I got
okay?
goosebumps, man. I got goosebumps.
And it should. In all sincerity, you and I have a superpower within us right now. While there are many people around us, and you're asking the right questions here, Remy, when you say, why do people not ask for help? They don't think people care. They've been programmed to believe no one is going to help me. So if you and I take the opportunity, and I'm talking about you and I, the listener, take the opportunity, and everybody is around us, and all we say is like, how you doing? You okay? How's everything? Just the natural human, again, being a good human being. You'll be surprised. You'll be shocked. How many people first will fake it and say, oh, everything is good, but then you carry on a conversation and find some more, or you'll have that one person like, could be better. Now you have a gift, a blessing, an opportunity to change someone's life and say, tell me more, man, what's going on? And you may be that hope that will stop, whether it is physical suicide or emotional suicide or financial suicide, because suicide is a word that means that we are giving up and terminating something intentionally on our own will. But it doesn't mean just the physical life suicide. You could be committing a financial suicide by gambling your life away. You could be making, a relationship suicide by, cheating left and right and being in the wrong places just because you think that's what your fulfillment, what's the lack is. So I think if we just ask and take a little bit of responsibility, we'll find a lot more people that need help that we can actually help.
But Ali, I totally agree with you, but I think one of the reasons I'm going to add to what you said, they're not asking, is because they don't want to be vulnerable. Like, I ask a lot of people and I said, why you didn't say that? I have a lot of staff that they're younger, and I'm 54 years old. I go to them and ask them that, do you know how to do this? And he says that, are you serious, sir? I said, yeah, I don't know it. I don't know everything. I know a lot of stuff, and sometimes I go to people, I say, why you didn't ask? I say, I don't want to show myself weak. I don't want to show myself vulnerable. I said, what is that? I don't understand that. We have to be vulnerable. If you're listening, folks, you really have to be vulnerable. I think otherwise nothing gonna happen. If I'm not vulnerable, if I need help, I go ask Ali, and Ali is not gonna make fun of me. If he does, who cares, I ask for help, and that's what you said. If people understand that, to be vulnerable, and that being vulnerable is not a sign of weakness, I think we have a better world.
And by the way, whether you talk early on because you're showing your vulnerability and dropping your ego, or when it's way too late, you're going to eventually ask for help. So I would much rather you talk to me while your health or that bill is under control, then you already lost the house and you're homeless, while I could have helped you with 2 mortgage payments.
Yeah.
And we'll figure out how you give it back. You wait until you lost the house and your clothes are thrown out. Now you're saying, can I move in with you? No, you can't move in with me. It's too late. So I'd rather, and it's, again, it's the same for, yeah, I tell people all the time, like, just take care of yourself. I'm not asking you to make drastic changes right away, but little by little, take care of yourself, because you may say, I'm healthy, I'm okay. You may say, I'm still young, but eventually what you're eating and what you're drinking and what you're putting in your body, smoking, it's going to come back to you. I can promise you that. And that bill is going to be a whole lot more, than now. Eating healthy is expensive. All right, well, wait until you turn, 45, 50, and you've been eating McDonald's for 30 years in a row, and watch how expensive that doctor visit is going to be on a regular basis. So humble yourself. It is.
But I'm going to, I know how busy you are, Ali. I don't want to take your time more than this, but I really enjoy talking to you.
I appreciate that.
I'm so happy we connect. But what advice do you have for the people right now, Ali? They're going through a rough time. It's a business, it's a personal, it's a family, it's a son, and that they're really stuck. They don't know what to do, regardless of their problem. What advice do you have? You've been there, I've been there. What they have to do to push them to the next level, or just say, let me move a little bit forward.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for those people?
Yeah. So take a piece of paper and pen and write an inventory of what you want and what you don't want. That's the very first thing. Like, take a piece of paper and put a line in the middle, the things I don't want, the things I desire. And write down all the things that you don't want, and then on the right, write all the things that I desire. Then flip it, rip it, don't even read what you don't want. Throw that sucker away. Don't even look at it. Now let's focus on what I desire. Here's the thing. You may say, Ali, I am struggling. I don't have any money right now. I don't even know what to do. I'm barely making it. I'm here to tell you, you have an attic, a basement, or a garage, and in it, there's a lot of stuff that you have not touched, used for the last 3, 6, 8, 12 months. And there's a thing called Facebook Market. Because if you're listening to this, chances are you have a cell phone and you have internet and you are on social media. Go to Facebook Market, drop everything you no longer use, drop everything that you're not touching, stop hoarding it, put it there, and put $1 amount to it. I guarantee you, somebody will say, is this still available? And they will buy it. They will Venmo, they will Zelle, they will show up in your house, they'll give you cash. Now you have a little bit of money. Take that money. This is for those of you who say, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Take that money and don't spend it on Applebee's. Take that money and go to a dollar store and then reinvest it. Let's say you've made $200 with whatever you have. A dollar store, most of it now is $1.99, but let's just call it $2 items, right? Spend $150 plus tax and get yourself a nice, 50 to 100 items. Open eBay and Etsy and an Amazon, fulfilled by Amazon page, and drop all those things that you bought for $2 for $3, $4, and $5. You know what happens? I promise you, it will sell. Then get those revenues and then reach out to a mentor and say, hey, I only have a couple of $100, maybe less than 1,000, and I see that teach people how to become successful in business or whatever trade that you want, and have them help you and do some evaluation. By the way, you can do what I just shared with you over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. You can go to garage sales every single week and pick up. I did this, by the way. When Hurricane Sandy happened and I lost my traditional businesses, I was desperate, miserable. I went from the kid that had it all to the kid who was saying, Mom, I need gas money. And then I started looking everywhere. I'm like, everybody's throwing out their washers and dryers and leaving them in front of their house. So I went and I rented a truck. It's $80 a day. And I would fill up that truck and I'd go to the scrap metal and I would just drop two and come back, drop two and come back, drop. And I would make $1,000 a day with washers and dryers that are no longer working. And people were like, thank you so much for cleaning my house. I'm like, oh yeah, anything you want me to clean, I'll take it. So I turned garbage into money. Talk about thoughts become things. So there are opportunities. For those of you who say, I have a bad relationship or I'm mentally not where I need to be, you need to forgive and let go and let God. It is only through self-forgiveness. Just so you know, the power of forgiving is when you take that pain and you forgive it away. That's not why it's not called forsake. It's forgive. So you got to let go and let God. And the moment you start with that, everything softens up. And when you soften up, your heart becomes more willing to accept and receive more. And that's when opportunities come before you. And I can go for a 7-day seminar on just that alone, but I'm going to leave it at that. Do a little bit with what you have. and do a lot more with what you feel. Love, forgive, and watch greatness happen for you.
Thank you so much, Ali. But if you guys would listen, you watch this, please understand, as Ali said, we are here, we are here to help you with no expectation in return. We're going to give with no expectation. And please take advantage of that. Total combining our experiences together is over more than decades, and then use that. There is no cost to it. And we're not advertising. I'm sure Ali's like that. We're not advertising to, hey,
nope.
You got to tell me $10,000, $5,000 to just, no. Use our experience in your benefits, your advantage to go on in life and business. There are people like us that you need to reach out and ask for help. You don't need to pay $10,000 for go-to seminars. Maybe if you have it, you want to do it, that's fine. But we are here to do our part as being a good human, and we are here. Ali, how people they can reach out to you, how they can find you?
Yeah, you can just go to winwithali.com or anywhere on social media. You can literally just Google Ali Mehdaoui. And the first 6 pages in Google, you'll see my beautiful face in every single link. So yeah, just winwithali.com, and we can definitely connect there.
That would be great. Ali, thank you so much, my friend, brother, to be here with me. It was a truly a pleasure, and man, I love chatting with you all day. We got so much in common. I can talk to you for days, but I'm definitely would be reaching out to you again, and just you're gonna be my friend, man.
Looking forward to it.
We're gonna go for many, many years together and help so many people. Once again, thank you, brother, and see you next time.
You got it.